Welcome to the Campus Edge, a production of Butler Community College.
Produced by students and for everyone, students included.
Campus Edge reporters have been all over the greater Butler County area for this episode.
Discovering the stories we know you'd like to see and hear.
It's another award-winning episode of the Campus Edge. Our second episode of Campus Edge this semester begins with a man wearing many hats.
How can someone wear many hats? Wouldn't some of them fall off?
Not literal hats. I mean, Bill Young has many jobs. He's not only the BCC Vice President of Digital Transformation, but also the Mayor of El Dorado.
That makes more sense. After all, why wear a bunch of hats at one time?
I met with Mayor Young and City Manager David Dillner at their State of the City address recently. Let's take a look. Following a welcome and introduction by Mayor Bill Young, City Manager David Dillner listed the City of El Dorado accomplishments and trends from 2019 and highlighted goals for 2020 at the State of the City address hosted by the El Dorado Chamber of Commerce on Tuesday, February 4th, 2020.
Well, the state of the city is great. I mean, to David's point, to what we talked about, I've been here for 25 years and I think we're in great shape. We've got a lot of pretty awesome projects coming up. David touched on some of those. We talked about a little bit when I talked.
The opportunity to be here tonight and deliver the State of the City address is always a special time in the life of our city. A time when we come together to reflect on where we've been, where we are today, and where we want to go. As a former city commissioner and your newly elected mayor, I am keenly aware that the commission and I have an awesome responsibility of advancing the goals that our residents want. Making these goals a reality wouldn't be possible without a great city manager. So fortunately for El Dorado, we have the best. David Dillner is a very skilled and effective leader who is every day working to refine our outstanding legacy of fiscal and organizational excellence.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the state of the city, some of the things that we've accomplished. There are also some things that will carry over from 2019 into 2020, so we'll highlight some of that. And then we'll also give a preview of kind of what's to come for 2020. But one of the things that I do as part of this State of the City is I break down some of the data, if you will, to provide an analysis of the trends that are facing the community. And so I hope you'll find it interesting. Some of these trends can't really be explained very easily, but some of them, maybe there's a better explanation than others. But it'll allow you to kind of see where we've been as a community and then where we're maybe headed as we extrapolate out the trends.
There's a lot going on right now, and I guess what more could you ask for? What we need is input. We need feedback, always.
Well, there's a couple different ways. The obvious ones are you can come to City Hall, but if you don't want to do that, you can call, you can email, Facebook, Twitter. We have a number of different mediums for engaging the public on social media. So it's really, how do people want to engage? We're also going to do these face-to-face things, and I prefer those because it just gets people out and they can hear other opinions and thoughts. So it's kind of pick how you want to engage and we'll be there.
I really encourage people to get out to these community dialogues that David's doing. The last one that he did last month was we had great feedback, and to David's point, it's an opportunity to hear what other people are thinking as well, because we've had pretty good turnout. So
You know, Mr. Young is not the only talented member of the Butler community.
I agree. Our part of the world is filled with talented people.
Kyle Flickinger met with a Butler student who is living his dreams.
How so?
He's in his own band in Wichita. Kyle also discovered a new band called Cardinal Lane.
The local music scene is alive and well, and Butler is a part of it.
Reporting for Campus Edge. Today we're going to be looking into local bands to see what's up in the music scene in Wichita. First, we caught up with bass player John Patton of the Skeptics to find out how he got his role in the band.
Why did I pick bass? Well, a long time ago, one of my friends decided he wanted to start a Beatles cover band when we were in 4th grade. And he said, I'll play guitar, you'll play bass. And I said, okay. And so I asked for I asked for a bass for Christmas. And I got a bass for Christmas, and I got a little amp, and ever since then I've just stuck with it.
I asked him what his plans were after college, whether he wanted to stay performing or try something outside of music.
After I'm done with this semester here, I'm planning on auditioning for cruise ships, which by then, I mean, even now I could audition and probably get in because my sight reading's at that level, but by then I'll be at a much higher level, and gonna go audition for cruise ships and do that for a while and then save up some money and move to Nashville.
This next group was able to fit all 5 members on a couch for an interview. They are Cardinal Lane, a rather new band who's gained a following fairly quickly. Let's get to know them and see what their secret to success is.
What's up, guys? We're Cardinal Lane. We're a local Wichita band. My name is Coltrane Curry. I'm the lead singer.
My name is Ben Kanegi, and I play guitar and keys sometimes.
I'm Jay Cervera, and I play guitar for the band.
I'm Graham Whiteside, and I am the drummer.
I'm Jacob Meeker, and I play bass.
We've been a band since August of last year, so 2018. It's like August of 2018. So about a year and like 4 months now-ish. Year and a half. Sorry.
Yeah, so currently we have 2 singles out. Don't Look Around was our first single, and then which we released in early November. And then in late January, we released our second single, which is Redlining. So Jacob, to my left here, has been doing a wonderful job at producing and mastering our songs while we all kind of collab together. And so while we're trying to stay as independent as possible, meaning away from a record label, we want to make our songs sound the best as possible. So sometimes that takes a little longer, but we do have, an EP planned and some other things planned. We just can't give specific details.
So the way we kind of started out, I think the most important thing for us is that early in our career, we focused just a lot on writing songs, making good songs, before we even thought about playing our first show. And then when we finally made that first step of playing our first show, we all had these friend circles, these networks that we had been telling people about our band, but it had never become a reality until that moment. And so then it all kind of collided at this super tiny venue that we packed out, and it was probably what you would say the best show of our career so far. It was just so much fun, and I think the key would be to be focusing on writing good songs, and also just don't rush into playing shows if you're not ready. Like, make sure your music is at the highest quality, and also just look to utilize your friends' networks and support groups. And
use your friends.
Use your friends. Utilize, a little different.
I know.
But, so that's my advice.
If you didn't know any bands in Wichita, now you know 2. Look for the Skeptics in Cardinal Lane playing around Wichita and see if they're your kind of style. Here's Graham Whiteside with a closing drum solo. I'm Kyle Flickinger reporting for Campus Edge.
The Butler area is truly an exciting place in which to live. Coming up, animators, firefighters, and tips on how to decorate on a budget right after the break. We're just getting started here on the Campus Edge.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear, filling in for Smokey because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Deanna, what do most college students have in common?
No free time, no food, no money.
I suffer from all three myself, and that can be a problem when faced with decorating a new dorm or apartment.
I remember having bare walls for a while.
Campus Edge reporter Michael Pauly understands and came up with these solutions to a problem that affects all of us.
Whether you're a student or a first-time renter, here's some ideas for you.
Congratulations, you've just moved into your first dorm/apartment, or maybe even a house. Everything's perfect and you have every box packed away nice and neat. Except your walls are looking a little bit bare, and your pockets may be looking a little bit short on cash because of the first payment you made on this place. Well, I'm Campus Edge reporter Michael Pauly, and I'm going to help your house feel more like a home while also saving a little money for food. The first place you might want to visit is your local Goodwill. They have several amazing decorations for any season. And sometimes you'll even find a painting that somebody made and then donated. I have several decorations in my own home that came from Goodwill, such as this one and this one. You can go to any local Walmart and you can find posters towards the back for very low prices. But if you have some otaku tendencies, then you might want to visit a Hot Topic. Or, if you're just a creative type, you can paint your own. Just go and get a canvas, grab some paint, and get an idea. And if it doesn't turn out how you want, or it doesn't match with your walls, then you can donate it for somebody else to enjoy. You can also take memorabilia, such as a letter or a birthday card from Grandma, put into a frame, and hang that up on your wall. You can also get a pair of very cheap brackets, get a piece of wood, and just put a shelf up. But you might want to figure out what the regulations are on screws in your wall. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy living in your new place, and that your apartment, or dorm, or house feels more like a home. This has been Campus Edge Reporter, signing off.
Now I've got a question for you.
Okay.
When you were little, did you ever want to be a firefighter?
For a while, I thought riding around in a fire truck would be pretty cool.
I know lots of boys and girls have dreamed of doing just that. Not everyone realizes their childhood dreams, but one Butler student is living his.
Reporter Ross Cole talked with Tim Brown, a full-time Butler student and a member of the volunteer Towanda Fire Department. Here's his story.
I got to talk to one of the volunteer firefighters that lives in the community. When he isn't busy responding to fires and medical calls, he's juggling homework as a full-time student here at Butler and time with his family.
It's rough. Finding that balance between school, my home life, work, it can definitely be tough. But like I said, I got a great support system at home. My kids love what I do. My wife loves what I do. So that helps a lot. Good friends, people to turn to on rough days, and so I got a good support system is what that comes back to. I think all traits firemen should have would be mainly, courage, honor, duty, pride, willing to sacrifice a lot. We miss a lot of time with your families, and so there's a lot to it. they all kind of go hand in hand with each other. Duty and loyalty. I mean, you want to be there. We're here to serve our communities. So that's probably our ultimate goal of everything we do. So, I mean, that's kind of what that sums up to. Pride, just having pride. When you wear the shirt with the logo on it, you show up for your community, you do your job, you show pride and honor in what you do. I decided I want to be a firefighter as far back as I can remember, kindergarten. My father was on the volunteer fire department a long time ago. But I got one of my youngest memories was being able to ride in the parade in our hometown and the big fire truck that he was driving in the parade, and I think I was addicted from it. I've spent a lot of time preparing. I got my original certifications in 2012, and I've trained ever since then, every day. Going back to school now at Butler to get my degree in it. I just got my EMT certification, which was pretty much my last step. So I've spent years training. I got a lot of certifications, everything from confined space to confined space rescue, hazmat. I'm a hazmat technician. I got Fire 1, Fire 2, I can go on and like 20 or 30 or better. We train. We train a lot. The more you train, the less surprises, I guess you could say, you would have. So you're going to be a little bit, you look for those so that you don't, get surprised, hopefully. It can be rough sometimes, but they're behind me 100%, and they're glad of what I do as well, so I got a good support system. I love to serve my community. That's my job. That's what I want to do. Ever since I could, walk probably, definitely as far back as I can ever remember, I've always tried to help everybody out. It's just a part of who I am. So that's probably the best. This is my gear. We got the coat, which it's all pretty heavy once you get it all on. It don't look very thick. There's liners in them. They're made of Nomex, which is a fire retardant gear. And we got our pants. This gear is it's rated for 500 degrees for 5 minutes. So that's why we try to get in and cool the fire down right away. I have been in gear in a hotter fire, and it's kind of interesting on what it'll do to your gear whenever you come out. But it's actually pretty good. It works very well.
Until next time, I'm Ross Cole, and this is the Campus Edge.
In our final section of the show, we explore our changing world of technology. The tradition continues after this spot break.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Animation seems to be in practically all media these days.
Movies, shorts, commercials. I'm surprised they haven't tried to animate us.
I don't think I'm an animated character, but it's hard to tell.
You're real, but you're right. Animation is a great career.
Reporter Ethan Sutter spoke with Butler animation professor John Simpson to discover more about how he became an animator and the opportunities for students interested in the art.
My name's John Simpson, and I am an associate professor at Butler Community College. I teach animation, primarily computer-aided animation. I wouldn't say I necessarily decided to become a teacher. I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and the opportunity presented itself. It's not something I ever considered doing until I actually did it. Primarily, 3D animation 1 and 2 are my main focus, but we also have a 2D animation class called Animate Fundamentals. And then my pride and joy is the stop motion animation class, which I think is the best class that I teach. As far as animation, I've always just loved what you can do with animation. When I was about 1981, I would have been about 11, saw a movie called Heavy Metal, which pretty much changed my life, and that was when animation became a focus of mine hard. So I took several classes here at Butler Community College. That was my first experience with college ever, and very quickly found out that I had a knack for helping people learn things. And so while I wanted to go into animation and web design and a couple other digital media fields, again, just kind of the path went towards teaching as opposed to getting out and doing a ton of it. Now, I did quite a bit of freelance work while I was still a student, but it just kind of, I don't want to say I fell into it, but it's just one of those things that happened to be I was in the right place at the right time. There's a number of schools such as the Art Institutes or Dave's School in Florida. Locally, there's not a ton that you could do. WSU does have a program that's pretty young, but it fits with ours pretty well. A lot of students go straight to work. So,
in the last story, I thought I might be an animated character, but you poked me.
I hope it didn't hurt.
I just realized that if you were an animated character too, that poke would mean nothing.
Trust me, you're real.
Then maybe I'm a robot. Computers are everywhere.
Hayden, you're not a robot either, but you are correct that computers are everywhere. You can buy them already built or build them yourself. Reporter Kameron Bus takes us on a trip into basic PC building.
Hello, hi, I'm Kameron Bus, reporting for the Campus Edge. What is one thing that needs to be in everyone's house? A computer, right? What if I told you can have the nicest? What if I told you can have the slickest? What if I told you can have the best of the best piece of PC machinery you've ever seen? Well, that's my mission today. Today I'm gonna guide you through the world of building your own PC. This right here is my PC. Now, I know I called it kind of what a PC should look like, but honestly, I've seen some harder looking PCs than mine, but you know what? I love it because it's mine. That's what's important. So, what do you need to know about a PC? Well, it's very simple. So I'm about to lay it all down for you right now. Here's what you need to know about getting a PC.
This right here is Joe Quad, and it is hosting a multitude of components. The brain of it all is an AMD Ryzen 7 2700X with 8 cores and 16 threads unlocked. The base clock speed is at 3.7 GHz and go up to 4.5 GHz with overclocks. The memory running on here are 2 sticks of 8GB DDR4 DRAM Corsair Vengeance RGB Pros, adding up to 16 gigs. Housing the graphical capabilities is the beautiful MSI GeForce RTX 2060, DirectX 12 Gaming Z 6G 6GB GDDR6 with PCI Express 3 graphics card. All is being held by the Gigabyte X570 Gaming PCI Express 4 ATX motherboard. Powering this from the wall socket is the EVGA 500-watt power supply. All is inside the Cooler Master Masterbox MB5111 RGB ATX tower with best ventilations, tempered glass side panel, and 320mm RGB.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I go too fast? I hope you remembered all that because that's going to be on the test later. In case you forgot something, just remember exactly what I said, but in slow motion.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Don't worry. I'm going to explain everything. Don't worry. The first thing you should do before even considering buying a PC is giving yourself a budget. PCs can be extremely expensive, and I mean extremely expensive. This PC right here, the good old Joe Quad right here cost me around $1,000. Now, I know you're thinking, $1,000, that's a lot for a PC. But trust me, it's not compared to some of the PCs that are actually on the market. All right. A big question a lot of people are going to ask is, why should I build my own computer? Why should I? It's even stupid, and that's a waste of time. I don't know how to build a computer. Well, the reason for that is 4 solid words. They will scam you. Just look at some of these prices. Right here we have an Asus gaming desktop PC with an i5 and then the NVIDIA GeForce GTX, whatever that number is, and 512 gigabytes of storage for $969 as a base price, and that doesn't even cover shipping and taxes. And look at this right here. We have a Intel Core i7, which isn't that bad as my processor, but only has 3 gigahertz and a GeForce GTX 1600, and it comes with a bad mouse and keyboard for $1,200. Not even counting taxing or shipping! This right here is a Skytech gaming desktop PC with a Ryzen 5 3600, whatever, right? And it runs an RTX 2070 Super, which is actually pretty good. And has 16 gigs of RAM, but it's costing you almost $1,300. They're scamming you! Now, what are you gonna need for your computer? Well, it's very simple. You're gonna need a CPU, you're gonna need some RAM sticks, you're gonna need a motherboard, you're gonna need a power supply, and you're gonna need a graphics card. And you're gonna need a case as well. That's kind of important, but duh. First thing you're gonna need to look into is a motherboard. Major thing being a ATX motherboard. All the other variations are some that are smaller and all that stuff, but ones that cost near $100 will do the trick for you. Next up you're gonna need is a CPU. For CPU, you're gonna need to pick between 2 major brands, AMD or Intel. There isn't really huge differences between these two. It's more along the line of just preferences. Some of them are better, some processors are not as good. But now, if you're gonna go with AMD or Intel, you gotta make sure that the motherboard you pick supports that GPU. You don't want to buy a motherboard and expensive CPU, and you can't even put them together. RAM is very important. So the more RAM, the better. But of course, if you're on a budget, make sure you get as much RAM as you can for a good amount of price on your budget. But I would say maybe around the price range of $70, $80 is a really good RAM sticks. My computer right here is holding 16 gigs of RAM and is doing fantastic for the amount of work I do. I do a lot of work on my computer. Next thing you're gonna want to look for is power supply. Basically, the typical amount of wattage that is needed for a power supply is 500. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Kind of depends on your situation, whatever. But typically, it's just 500 watts. The GPU. You need to have the beastiest graphics card. Graphics cards are definitely a thing that you're going to want to prioritize the most out in your budget because graphics cards are super expensive and super important. You want to have that crisp 8K, 4K, whatever resolution when you're playing Modern Warfare or Tetris, solitaire. My graphics card cost me around $380, which is a lot, but it does the trick. It runs the latest games at max settings, and it's freaking sweet. The last thing you're gonna want to look for is cases. There's no input for me. Cases are just up to you, your style. I didn't teach you how to build a computer, but make sure you just look it up. It's not super complicated. I'm a complete dummy, and I got it figured out. Systems will probably be needed, but anyone can do it. Just read instructions. YouTube videos are always there. There's tremendous tech channels out there that will help you out. Unfortunately, that is all the time I have. I must now go hibernate and play some video games on my computer. See you there. You're watching the Campus Edge. Bye.
And that brings us to the end of our second show for Spring 2020. Do you think you're a walking computer?
No, I'm flesh and blood, but if I were a computer, I wouldn't have to go to class. I'd just download the materials.
Or download the episodes of the Campus Edge. But for the rest of us, tune in weekdays on BCTV Channel 20.
Or you can check them all out on our YouTube channel, Butler Student Media.
This has been the Campus Edge.